This is my 28-week baby bump. Getting so big. 28 weeks just sounds like, oh my gosh, holy crap. Hi guys, we are finally in the third trimester. I am so excited to be here. I feel like I'm like super duper pregnant now and my belly looks gigantic, and it's supposed to look gigantic because we're in the third trimester, right? So I'm like super excited. Like, just, it's only like 3 months away. So we're covering the weeks of Christmas and New Year's here. And first of all, let me talk about my eating habits. For the holiday season, it was kind of crappy. I wasn't exactly eating the best, or how I should be. And then I went to my maternal fetal medicine doctor appointment on last Wednesday, like right at 27 weeks in one day, and my fluid levels were measuring high, baby was measuring big, as usual, pretty much the same thing that was going on when I was pregnant with Calvin. And on that same day, I went to my regular doctor's office and took the gestational diabetes test. I passed that fine, but I've just been thinking, what if I try to eat a more like gestational diabetes friendly diet and try to reduce my carbs and cookies and sugar and crap like that, you know? What if I try to really adjust the way I'm eating and see if that has an effect on my fluid levels and on baby's size? And so after New Year's, I've been focusing more on really not eating sugary junk and carbs and stuff like that lately. So we're gonna see if that works, because in 2 weeks from now, I have another ultrasound to check on my fluid levels again to see if they are actually high or they're just kind of high. Because with Calvin, they were high for normal, kind of. They were just like borderline too high. And she was saying at my last ultrasound last week at maternal fetal medicine that they were generous. And so I don't know exactly what the numbers are. They're just kind of trying to generally tell me that my fluid levels are high, but my gestational diabetes test came back fine. So it's not that. So I was thinking about changing up my diet. So for the past week or so, like a week tomorrow or Friday, I've been trying to reduce the carbs and stuff like that. So with that, I've noticed at least this week, I haven't gained any weight, which I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I'm already up 30 pounds anyway. So if I could at least kind of get my weight to like a steady, like not 2 pounds a week, you know, kind of gain, then I think I would feel a little bit better about things. Now I know that Aaron, the baby, is growing a lot at this point. We're in the third trimester. He's gonna be growing a ton. Calvin was growing literally an average of 9 ounces a week from 28 weeks on, 30 weeks on, something like that. If I look at all the ultrasounds that I had in the last trimester with him, just averaging out each week, he was gaining a lot more than he needed to. And he was a big boy. He was 8 pounds 6 ounces at 37 weeks exactly. So the past week, diet has really been a big issue for me. Now another kind of cool thing that's been happening is my hips, my left hip is usually the one that bugs me, and my low back haven't been bugging me as much since right around Christmas time. And I think I've figured out what I've been doing differently. I brought out my yoga ball, or stability ball, or whatever you want to call it, like the workout ball that you sit on and stuff, and I've been using that pretty much every night before bed, just kind of sitting on it and like rocking back and forth and like just kind of loosening up my hips, or like laying on it, like laying my chest on it and then like rolling out so that my belly can just hang there. And then my midwife at my doctor's office also recommended that I do some, I don't even know what they're called, but you like pretty much hang upside down, like with your knees like on the couch or something, and your face like down, you know, on the ground pretty much on your forearms, so that your uterus can just hang there essentially. And she said that should help with like all the Braxton Hicks that I've been having lately, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And so I've been doing these little exercises before bed pretty much every night, and my hip and my back have been a lot better. So hopefully, you know, fingers crossed, that continues if I continue to at least move them around a little bit before bed each night. So with the Braxton Hicks, that's another thing. I've been having them like crazy lately, like just from, you know, moving the laundry basket across the room, or getting up off the couch after sitting there for a while, or just moving around, doing basic everyday things is giving me Braxton Hicks. And so I brought that up with my midwife at my regular doctor's office, and she said it's very common for a second pregnancy, or you know, a multiple pregnancy, not your first pregnancy. I never know what to call that, like your subsequent pregnancies. So not necessarily a second, but your third or fourth or whatever. If you've had a baby before, it's more common to have more Braxton Hicks. And so she said they were very normal to be experiencing. And she said don't be too worried about it as long as you're staying hydrated and they don't, you know, like if, she said the only reason to get worried would be if you're laying still, like laying around and doing nothing, and you're staying hydrated and you're still having them, and you're having several, like 6+ an hour. If you're trying to prevent them by sitting around doing nothing, drinking a lot of water, and they still keep coming, then it's time to be worried. And so that really made me feel a lot better, because I was starting to get a little bit worried about them, because like I said, I was having them a lot. Holy crap, guys, we got to see Aaron, well, I got to see Aaron on ultrasound in 3D, and it was so cool. Like, we got a moment of 3D with Calvin, but like, it just wasn't as clear as this office, I guess. I don't know if the machine is different or what, but it was just like so cool. Like, it was awesome. Like the first few seconds you could see his face like totally clearly, and then he started bringing his hands up in his face, and he had his umbilical cord, and he like licked his cord, and he was just like moving his hands, and it was just like too cool. It was like really, really cool to be able to see that, and to get the pictures of like, you know, a few shots of him, his little face, you know, like as soon as I saw his little face, I was like, holy crap, he looks just like Calvin. But the more I look at him, the more I think you can see their differences. I mean, Calvin looks exactly like my husband, Justin, but I think Aaron might have at least a little bit of me in there, and so I hope that they're not like super twins, you know, then I have like 3 of these boys who all look exactly the same. I've definitely been feeling a lot more tired lately. It feels like I'm back in the first trimester again, like seriously, like I just want to nap all the stinking time. And even looking back on my old videos and blog posts and stuff like that, I was feeling the same way around this time too. I was just so tired. Like as soon as the 3rd trimester comes around, it's like, it feels like you're back in the first trimester, but you're 30 pounds heavier. Sleep has been kind of crappy lately. I just can't seem to get comfortable. I roll either side and it just doesn't feel right. Like, not that it keeps me up a lot, but it's just hard to fall asleep, and it's hard to get comfortable in bed. Like, I wish that I had like a cocoon of pillows where I just like live in this little like nest of pillows. That would be ideal, but I have to share a bed with my husband, and there's not enough room for the cocoon of pillows and the 2 of us. So with Aaron, I totally have moments where I can feel like legit a foot or a knee or something protruding, and it feels so much more defined than it ever did when I was pregnant with Calvin. And I think it may be because with Calvin, I had an anterior placenta. My placenta was on the outside of my belly. And so they say that makes it harder to feel movements and feelings and stuff like that. And like, it just like occurred to me, it's like, maybe that's why I never really felt like I like felt his foot or something, you know, like it was never as defined as it feels like it is with Aaron now. And I was thinking maybe, you know, maybe I'm just not remembering it right. You know, it's been a year and a half now. Maybe I'm just not, you know, as in tune with what it actually felt like. But I'm pretty sure that I feel Aaron like way more. Like you can just like actually like just like run your hand across your belly and like feel him. Which is kind of crazy. It's totally crazy. And another thing with that, by this time with Calvin, I was totally feeling him up in my rib cage, like way up here, and like always he had his little foot up in this part of my rib cage. And I haven't felt that yet with Aaron. Like every once in a while it'll feel like a lot of pressure up here, like he's just like way up high, but it never feels quite like it did with Calvin. Calvin was like literally always had his little feet up here. And I wonder if that's because my placenta is up high. Because I've noticed on our ultrasounds, because I have an ultrasound every other week at maternal fetal medicine, that it's not in the front, but it is up high on my uterus. And I'm not sure exactly where it's located up here, but I wonder if it's like, you know, protecting my rib cage from little baby feet. I've really been having the urge to go through the baby clothes and wash and pack up the dresser and, you know, like do all the baby clothes things. But there's this like thing in the back of my mind that doesn't want me to do it yet. Like I want to wait until after 32 weeks, because if you guys followed my story with Calvin, I was pregnant with Calvin at 32 weeks pregnant. I went to the hospital because my waters were leaking, and I just feel this Like if I wait to do the baby clothes stuff after 32 weeks, maybe it won't happen again this time. It's a stupid, like silly, superstitious, just kind of like in the back of your mind kind of thing, you know, but it's just kind of there. Like I had stuff ready for Calvin. Like I was probably already at this point washing clothes and getting room ready, like really ready and stuff with Calvin. And I feel like because I got ready for Calvin so early, that's why he tried to come early, you know? And so I had this like fear that if I do the same thing this time around, it's gonna happen the same way it did with Calvin. And so I want to kind of wait it out a few weeks, you know, maybe a month or two before I really get into trying to get Aaron's stuff ready, just for fear that he would arrive too early if I did that. I know it sounds silly, but that's just kind of the thought process that's like randomly happening in my head. So as you guys can see, Calvin is totally not having it, so we're going to get going. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did like it, and I will talk to you next time. Bye! Say bye-bye? No, you're sad? Okay.